last year, it was all about the excitement around generative AI. And it was just a lot of the art of the possible, what's going to come. And then this year, we're seeing a pretty big shift. But for us, servicing both the law firm market and the enterprise legal market, not just here in the US, but around the world, we're seeing a lot of companies actually want to take projects to production. And that's a big difference. Last year was about prototyping, innovating. What is the art of the possible? A lot of that now, that learning is behind us. And this year, they're saying, hey, last year we already tried. This year, how do we get users actually on the platform? We're seeing budgets 3 to 4 times larger than last year because they're thinking about enterprise-wide rollouts, not just inside of legal departments, but also inside of procurement, inside of finance and sales, other departments that legal supports. We recently got good news from Netflix that they've actually onboarded every single user in the company onto Evisort. So over 7,000 users at Netflix, all using Evisort. And that's an example of AI actually doing a wall-to-wall type of deployment. And that's really exciting. In terms of what AI can do for the legal industry, I think it's actually in the name, large language model, right? And if you think about language, one of the most important kinds of language is contracts. And contracts are there every time a company buys something, sells something, hires somebody, a contract gets created. So if you think about the data that's inside a contract, it's absolutely critical to business. It's dollars and cents, it's also legal and liability. And that really is what makes the economy go around. And so in terms of how you use AI for contracts, there's 2 main use cases that we at Evisort get really excited about. The first one is actually the drafting and the negotiation process. I was a lawyer and a salesperson before starting Evisort. I remember sitting there editing contracts myself, right? And these are long documents, there's red lines, there's negotiations, and it takes turns and turns and turns. I think that makes the world less agreeable. By using AI to actually generate the red lines to say, hey, this is what the counterparty is saying, here's what we can agree to, you can actually reduce that cycle by about 47%. And we think that's a good way to accelerate deal making. So that's one use case. The other use case is, if you think about it, most lawyers spend their time before a contract gets signed. That's not even actually an active contract. Once the contract actually binds you, a lot of times, for us and our global clients, they put those contracts in a digital filing cabinet. They forget what's inside of it. And so we're working with one of the 10 largest insurance companies in the world, and we're working with the finance team and the legal team, and they are using traditional tools for ERP to manage their vendor contracts. They cannot tell you which contracts have pricing escalation clauses. They can't tell you which contracts expire when. There's about $2 billion of risk that is actually just floating for their supply chain. We can analyze all of that, put it into one dashboard, and then push that dashboard into SAP Ariba where their users live. This is the kind of impact that AI is able to do that I think transforms commerce. So some of the challenges for law firms and legal departments that they have to get ready for in 2024 for the not just adoption, but the rollout of AI across their companies is got little to do with technology, I think. And that's what I think a lot of people don't talk about. The technology is already there, but some of the challenges are the things of old: people, process, and then technology. Especially for lawyers, we're more of a risk-averse group. Right? If you think about, just going to law school, we're learned to identify risk, read about cases about things going wrong. And so we're a more difficult group of people to adopt technology. But I think that's actually a bigger opportunity for legal tech. Because we have not adopted a lot of technology as a legal community, now the change is actually 15 years of change almost in 1 year. Right? And so it's not just the AI adoption, it's actually software adoption is lagging in legal. And so for legal departments, both inside of law firms and inside of enterprises, they have to actually do campaigns. This is what we're seeing for our customers. When they're rolling out a technology, it's not just about user training. They have to actually do campaigns from a marketing perspective. Here's what's in it for you. And I think that's actually the way to adopt software, is around the user centricity.